So alright guys, I know early that I've been kind of bubbling with enthusiasm and I wanted to share some things with you. So that's why I decided to start a little early, because I couldn't resist talking about good stuff. And it's so much to cover in the next few days. Number one is we mentioned a couple projects that we're working on. And thanks to one of the many people who are on my channel, I was able to get some of the money together to get some stuff for demos. The stuff I ordered won't be here for at least 2 weeks, so it's coming from the UK. But I also have some American stuff I wanted to show you, particularly for people who are not familiar with American wiring. And I mentioned about the transformer diagram, and so that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Is, of course, us Americans know what these are. Yeah, this is a standard U.S. cooker plug. It's a 40 amp. It kind of looks like a UK plug, sort of, but it's not. In fact, this is rated at 40 amps. They do make a UK version of the same cooker plug, but it's wired differently. And I'm not going to bore you with the wiring diagram necessarily, but in your typical US cooker, you'll notice that you see this lead here that has a stripe on it. It's the middle. This is your neutral and your earth line, okay? And these two are the two phase lines. So each one of these, so an earth and this one makes 120, an earth and this one makes 120, and these two legs by themselves make 240. Now you might say, well, that's simple enough. Just plug this in, just wire your UK plug into these two, you get your 240. Yes, but there's a problem, and that is an issue because that does not properly provide the earth and neutral lines, which could be dangerous. Now, so what we need is a transformer to convert these legs to the proper European specifications. So that is, I just got this wire this summer from an old stove that my landlord had scrapped, and it turned out it was in good shape. The stove was a rack, but the plug was in good shape. So I was very happy to get this. This is like, these are like $30 cords. I got that for free. And hi, Eugene Marie. As you notice, I started a little early today. Let me turn on the Discord so the Discord people can talk. I forgot to put that on, so let me do that right now. Let's see. Snow Queen Radio. Start connect to server. Yep. Okay, I should be all set now. I gotta turn the sound off for you guys to hear me. So I ordered the UK stuff, and it will be here around in a couple of weeks. And so that will mean is that we will be able to begin explaining and exploring the difference between the two. And I'm really excited about it because I like tinkering with gadgets. Most people don't really get to know me very well. They just know that I do the news and weather and put my eyeballs to the phone, etc., etc., etc. But I actually am very much into STEM, which is science, technical, engineering, and mathematics. Not so much the math part, but the other parts of STEM I am into. So this is a major deal. Now, right now, it looks like it's going to rain where I am. That's probably why you might notice that the picture looks a little darker, and that's because of the weather. It's going to rain, and so it's cooling right now. I got my window fan blowing on me to keep me from overheating. And I also wanted to take the time to apologize for that the Wednesday live stream was shorter than it would normally have been. There was a lot of reasons why. The first is that R11830 and TNCC wanted me to be on their show, which is on R11830's channel right now, because TNCC, like InfoWars, got a 90-day ban from doing live streams due to the fact is that he showed the video of the man fighting in underwear that kind of broached on YouTube's pornography and bad taste rules. And so he has been working with R11830 to do the cringe report stories on his channel. And that worked out pretty interesting, as I was really tired, and I just didn't really feel too energetic. And it was also kind of hot too. So what happened is we ended up basically just covering all these different grounds and research and things like that. Now, I see a couple people are starting to join in. How's Patty? Patty's doing fine. I talked to her today. Unfortunately, one of her cats passed away. The poor kitty ended up getting hit by a car, and she said, well, it was one of my favorite cats. I said, that kind of sucks. I said, unfortunately, it does happen. The cat is an indoor-outdoor cat, like my cats are. I guess a person didn't see the cat on the road, nearby the road, and flattened the cat. So, I'm really sorry about that. But Patty otherwise is doing okay. She mentioned that her husband had passed away 3 years ago. I didn't even know she was married that recently. I knew she had several kids and a couple of grandkids, but I did not know that she became a widow about 3 years ago. Her husband passed away on the couch 3 years ago. And so that was a really kind of sad thing to hear too. But we have some good news too. Number one is, some of you may have noticed that my channel, we're trying to change the channel format into being a more sincere program, which is what I've been wanting to do for quite a while. Because the fact is, I know that so many people are looking forward to having my channel be a comedy show. It's not. This is actually more of a channel that tends to cover a lot of science, a lot of news, political research projects, fringe projects, like when I'm talking about with the 220 thing. I actually am looking forward to that. One of the key pieces of that, I'll get to that in a second, is the transformer, which is going to be a big expense. So I know that I've got a lot of people that come to the channel looking for comedy and comic relief. Use the kitchen one. My neighbor went to use the phone. I just told her use one in the kitchen. My channel is not really a comedy relief channel. I don't mind having comic relief. I understand why we need comic relief, especially when you hear the news, what's going on with some of the political stuff I have been covering vaguely. So I wanted to talk about that. One of the things is as a channel that tries to cover a large variety of topics, is I often tend to have a habit of either A, getting too detailed and having all the audience's eyes glaze over, which kind of sucks because that means I've lost your attention. Or I don't cover enough material and then you want to know more. And the second category is good because that means that I did at least pique your curiosity. But if I don't reach your curiosity, then I have basically wasted my time. And that's where I really find it very important to try to find a balance. And I also want to show people also that I am much more multidimensional than just a person who sits there and gets mad at callers on the phone saying I run a cat shelter, or I sell pizzas, or I fix toilets. Background to some of the repair business is, no, I do not run those businesses, but I certainly was a super for a prior landlord, and I am kind of a super for this landlord, so I do fix toilets for the building, and I do some plumbing work also. I also do gas work, you know, like working on natural gas and propane lines. In fact, I was the one who replumbed Ed's camper. The only thing in this camper we have to replace before Ed tree fell on it and even gave it away was the hot air furnace, which was a colossal disaster. The main the manifold regulator on the main burner had failed. Could be possibly just need to be replaced, but since it was connected into the Unitrol, it would have been very difficult to replace it at a price that was affordable. So he was using a secondary heater running on kerosene instead, because it was easier for him to get a kerosene heater. That would have been for Ed is another gentleman that you will notice in some of my early channels. He's an older guy. He has been around with me here for over 25 years. Just a couple years ago, he moved to Tampa, Florida, so that's why you haven't seen him around anymore, because he's in Tampa, Florida now. So this story is a little bit old, but basically, I've known him since Willimantic days, and he's pretty smart when he gets involved with his model trains and his hobbies. His hobby is a little more mainstream than mine. He gets into model trains and collecting 8-track tapes and heavily into the Beatles and Rolling Stones. He's actually out here on YouTube somewhere. Hello? Nikki? Who may I ask is calling, because right now I'm in the middle of a show. What's your name? Ron? Rhonda. Oh, Rob, like Robert. Okay, well, when I see Nikki come upstairs, I'll tell her you called, okay? Because right now I can't really leave because I'm on camera right now. Alright, thank you. Bye-bye. So, that was for one of my neighbors. She went downstairs, so unfortunately she's not here, so I have to wait till she comes up to pass the message along. You outed it as a bye and man. No, actually, that was a little more complicated than that. He thought I wanted him to move back to Winstead, and I didn't. And he mentioned that to me. He said, I thought you said you wanted me to move back to Winstead. I said, no, I don't necessarily want you to move back to Winstead. I mean, I am having hard times because of what happened with Dory, but, you know, I realize you're happy in Tampa. I don't expect you to come back to Winstead. I think that would have been a bad idea anyway, because the fact is, he had some issues with the landlord that has nothing to do with me. Do you think Nikki's downstairs? I could check. But, really not right now, because right now I'm in a video and we don't even have commercial breaks. Alright, now, other news I wanted to cover for those who want to make donations to my channel easier is we now have a PayPal Me account, which is easy. It's http://paypal.me/BICHELA. So that's http://paypal.me/BICHELA. So that makes donations a lot easier than trying to remember my full email. I don't know how that works with non-PayPal accounts, but clearly it's supposed to make it easier for people to make donations to you. Because if you could also, of course, donate to www.paypal.com, and email address is bichela3@gmail.com. The PayPal Me just makes it one less step for you. Let's see. Did we have sexual relationships? Well, it gets a little complicated. How do I start this? We didn't actually do it, but we did date for a little while. Like I said, it's a little complicated, and that's way long ago. At least 4 years ago. So that's way past time. So let's see. And then of course, now I'm also on Discord. The Discord sound is on. I was hoping that some of the people would join us on Discord today, because of the fact that we are outside. And we are going to have our live stream on on Sunday, which will be the YouTube, Twitch stream only, not the Discord stream. That's on Wednesdays and Mondays. And I actually wanted to talk about that too. I noticed that for my channel, as people have instinctually understood that the medium has changed a lot. In the sense I said at the beginning, we've been trying, me and Lumi have been planning to cover more serious things. We still want to have some comic relief, but, you know, I think that it would be better to be, given this crazy world, I really think we need to cover the real world news too. And, for example, right now, the ice in the Arctic and Antarctic is growing. However, here's an interesting problem, and Adept 2030 brought this up. It seems that the newer weather satellites being used for the Arctic ice research are offline because they're having problems and they don't know if they can be fixed. So these satellites, they say they don't plan to get them online for at least 2 to 4 years. That's kind of interesting, because if you're not going to get the satellites going for 2 to 4 years, it's almost like you're trying to hide the reality that the ice is growing. The ice budget for the Arctic is growing at a record pace, and that may not seem important, but as the colder temperatures are starting to inch their way down into parts of the United States, and of course into Scandinavia and parts of Europe, we're starting to see significant issues with the weather. as Ginger Marie is well aware of, there has been a significant crop loss in Ireland and in the UK, mostly in the areas of because of the drought and the heat. That there's been water regulation in both areas to conserve this precious resource. It's affecting the potato crops in Ireland, and it is doing a number on other vegetables as well. Even in Iran, where they grow rice, they have not enough rain to allow the rice to grow properly. We've also seen significant damage with wheat crops all across the world. This is quite amazing to think of all these things. These are the kind of things I've been wanting to research and talk about. But every time I try to start, I keep screwing up. So this is the reason why it's so really awesome when I get that a little bit extra gumption that says, hey, I got time, this weather's good, it's cooler outside, I can put the fan on me, I can talk about this stuff. And when I'm feeling fresh and revived that's what we're doing. Now, yesterday I also didn't do a live stream or a bcast or vlog because I was cleaning the house. Really, our 11 East Street, so I'll be happy to know this. I got the kitchen much cleaner than it was. I had to get on my hands and knees because my mop would not have done the job. This stuff had ground in dirt, and there was a lot of empty cardboard boxes that weren't being used, so I wanted to throw those out, and so I did. I cleaned out the house and started working in the, I gotta do the bedroom soon. Bedroom is just got cat hair all over the place. I don't know, it's just a mess. Hey James, if you check out the vid, it takes Dirty with Trains and Cringe Report channel. That is Ed. Yeah, but Cringe Report isn't really the best source to get to know Ed. Because if you really want to get to know Ed, you will see he has his own channel on YouTube. He also hasn't done any new videos lately, but he does have a channel on YouTube as well. And I also have done videos with Ed on my channel as well, prior to the last few years, so you can see some of the videos with Ed on my channel. Cringe Report is not necessarily the best source for Ed, but that's just the way it is with Cringe Report, because he's more into comedy and satire. I'm not, like I said, I have nothing against comedy or satire, but it cannot be the entire only focus of the channel. It's just not practical, because you can only make so much slapstick comedy before everybody goes, I think I saw that shtick about 2 weeks ago. People do need change. It's funny because humans beings hate change, but yet at the same time we do need change, because we don't spice up things. People will basically go, you're the pits, you're too flat, you're not dynamic enough, you suck. Okay, and if that's the case, you're basically wasting your time, and nobody wants that. So that's why I'm trying to expand into more things. It is the best source, otherwise you have to search around too much. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I got almost 2,000 videos. You can almost go through all those videos. So yeah, it's kind of that in a sense it's good, because it is showing a few things, but it doesn't necessarily give the full story of what was being said in all cases. So, now, I'm also would like to say out on the wire, please stop with your unmute shit, okay? You're not, it's so silly. It's just ridiculous. You can really, I just talk. You're not talking to me. I know you're talking to me now, somebody else. I can see you're talking to Ginger Marie. That's fine. Excuse me. You don't have to keep it up with this unmute crap, especially in the comment section. For God's sakes, okay? Everybody knows that you're talking to someone else. I see that, and I don't usually get in the middle of it. But you don't have to do that. Let's see what's going on. Right now it's overcast, like I said, and it looks like it's going to rain. And you can hear I don't have the air conditioner on. I have a window fan on right now blowing over me, so you might be getting the sound of the sound in your earpieces, and I'm sorry about that. Unmute crap, especially in the comment section. It is the... Okay, yep, best source. Okay, got that. Where the heck is everybody else? You mean Taco Man, etc.? They might be at work. You would think so. I would think so, yeah. Let's check that. Let's post a message to them. Let's see, to everybody. So, let's see. I hate this phone. Every 1 year live. We are now live. Use this invite to join. Join. Okay. And what do you think about comedy as far as... Well, you know, I'm not really into the comedy stuff. There's a lot of people who like to talk about it. Wait a minute, cancel. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there. I'm already here. Oops. Okay. So, of course, telling your own people to join when they're already joining your channel is colossal waste of resources. You are 100% right, Will. You are 100% right. Only problem is this. How can I copy this link? Copy text. I got it. Okay. So let me go send this out to the Taco Man's channel. I have to be honest, I don't necessarily understand some of his content on his channel, but yeah, I'm trying to expand this channel because this is the kind of thing that makes my channel successful. And let's see, anything else? Snow Queen Council. No, I don't want to go there. No, I'm already in that one. I don't want to go on the Snow Queen Council. And you probably ask, what is Snow Queen Council? Well, Snow Queen Council is a channel on Discord for when I'm going to have private conversations with people that I don't necessarily want to make into a major, publication. So it's like if you ever go to Snow Queen Council, that's where you can find out what's going on. So yeah, very interesting. All right, so now go back to this chat here, and it says, okay, if you check out it's Talk 30 with Chains, okay, it is the best source. Yeah, well. Now, since we're covering a lot of different things today, you might want to ask some questions. I don't know if you want to talk about anything or what's going on with the political scene, but I do got another topic to discuss right now, which is this. What is it with mothers killing babies? I see this a lot on the news. It seems that some mothers have taken the approach that their babies are not important to them and have been killing them. One mother killed her baby at an airplane by shoving toilet paper in its mouth. One mother killed a baby by feeding it salt water. Originally, some reason to get back at her boyfriend. Another mother, of course, and this does happen, is left her baby in her hot car. And this happens quite a bit, unfortunately. And one situation, she and her baby got locked in a hot car together. I don't know how or why, but it seems that mothers and some fathers are killing babies. And never mind the abortion thing. We're talking about babies that are already born and children. And that's really sad. So, let's see. Anything new? Oh, why don't we check your Twitch dashboard? Oh, yeah, why don't you also post a link on Twitch? Post a link on Twitch! Good idea, Lum. Absolutely great idea. I think we'll do that right now. Let's post this link on Twitch so the Twitchers know that they can join us on here as well. And that way I don't have to worry about that in the future. Because I do know I have followers on Twitch. They may not necessarily be viewing it right at this minute, but they are obviously out there, and this is on Twitch today. So yeah, we have a lot of things that we do want to discuss in technology. I mentioned that a lot. If you guys see Ted, tell Nikki that Rob called.
Rob called? Alright.
Rob, I don't know. They called when I was in the middle of the show, and I said that I would tell Nikki.
Alright, I'll let her know.
Okay, so let's see, live chat. Hi, Mr. Laugh, how you doing? Seems like an unusually dark episode. Well, it can be, but there are some enlightening topics as well. As always, some electrifying ones. Okay, let me give him the 411 real quick. The main topic I started out with this channel is explaining that we're going to be doing some new things on the program in the next few weeks. We're going to be exploring new things in technology as thanks to some donations from a few of my audience. We were able to get some things together. One of the things, as I mentioned, is setting up the some UK outlets here. One of the things that I mentioned that we needed to get, which we can't get yet because we don't have the money, is the transformer. I might as well bring that up. The transformers weigh about 25 kilograms. They're extremely heavy. They're 3,000 watts output. They would connect to the U.S. stove cooker outlet right here. This is the U.S. stove cooker plug, in case you wanted to see this. This gives the idea how big they are. And it converts the phases and everything to what is appropriate for UK. It would still be at 60 cycles, but it will be the proper phase and everything. The transformers go for about $200 for a nice used one. You can get cheaper, smaller sizes, but we want the 3,000 watt because then we can plug in things up to 12.5 amps, which is more than satisfactory for British 13 amp plug. Okay, that stuff's gonna be coming from the UK around the 16th of August. Okay, this stuff was ordered yesterday. It will be here in August. Another item I ordered is a OTG cell phone USB hub with support for charging said phone while using OTG appliances. Like my mixer is compatible with OTG. The my UVC dongle for my camera is compatible for OTG. So this will allow me to use an external camera instead of using my iPhone 4S to do all the video. Would be able to do it all from this one phone, and I'd still be able to see it. I could plug in a keyboard and mouse too. And that's going to be kind of cool because I'm looking forward to that resources. Michelle should talk about the dark stuff more often, do an in-depth analysis of serial killers or something like that. Well, you know, you asked me about solar flares, Mr. Laugh, and I didn't really go into much depth about what a solar flare is. I wanted to take some time to talk about that. First I had to research it to make sure I got it right. A solar flare is when in magnetic has to do with magnetism on the sun. As you may know, the sun's magnetic fields have a way of actually flipping and mixing. And when they do, sometimes they make a plasmic kind of bubble or loop. And when the forces get pulled enough, it can snap. And when it does, it releases a huge amount of energy. That huge amount of energy can come towards Earth. And it actually provides a couple things at the same time. Number one, it provides a sudden set of energy that can warm up the Earth just a tiny bit. But it also can wreak havoc with radio communications on Earth as well from satellites. So in that case, yes, it is indeed a really interesting topic. But, you know, some people don't really think about it that way. So I gave an example one time how when you think of like when you're cooking a hamburger on your grill, and sometimes the grease gets into the charcoal and it flares up a little bit. That's something that most people can understand. So when you can imagine when those solar flares come out, they kind of give it extra searing heat that can warm up the Earth just a little bit, even though it does wreak havoc with satellite communications and the very least, and of course can result in the northern and southern lights as well. By the way, speaking of extra Earth events, there will be a red blood moon tonight, the 27th, that is going to be mostly visible from the southern hemisphere. It'll last over an hour long. This is a really, really amazing thing because it's the longest blood moon in a long time, okay? In a lifetime for most people, actually. The moon will be at its most distant phase. It'll be in its perigee. So it'll be more noticeable during the lunar eclipse in the southern hemisphere. But unfortunately, people in the northern hemisphere won't see crap. Okay, because we're not part of the optimum area. But the southern hemispheres, such as Australia, New Zealand, and probably parts of South America will see this event. Some people are really looking forward to it because it is so unusually long. Was it 1 hour 40 minutes, something like that? Yeah, 1 hour 40 minutes. 1 hour. It's going to be a huge long one. She has not asked me to what? She is not accepting my right to peacefully protest. Let's talk about dark stuff more often. Do you do an in-depth analysis? Okay. Well, let's talk about the issue that I addressed with our 11H star, which is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who won the primary seat against Crowley in the 14th district of the state of New York. This is really serious, guys, because we all know that the Democrats have gone really far left. Well, listening to Maxine Waters' biatch about it, she's saying is that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is too far left for her. Isn't it ironic that yet Maxine Waters is still trying to tell her people to riot against Trump's supporters, and yet she thinks Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is too far left? Well, she is. A good portion of America does not want socialism in this country. However, those people are not the millennial population. These are the older people who have experienced, maybe from distant memory of what was like in Soviet Union, the KGB and the secret police and Lenin and Stalin and I think Brezhnev. These are the guys, the hardliners of the Soviet Union. And oh yes, don't forget the current situation, which Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez holds up as a poster child for socialism, which is Maduro of Venezuela. Now, why in the heck would you want to hold up a failed regime of a model of socialism? Did you realize that the price of inflation in Venezuela is 1,000,000%? That's right, 1,000,000%. That means to buy something for one Venezuelan monetary unit, I think was the dollars or the peso, it's going to cost you 1,000,000 of them to buy something. It's not really something I want to look up to and say, this is a good example where socialism can be, yada, 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 yada. No, it's a terrible example where socialism can be. So why in the hell would you want to use that as a model of a perfect socialist community? I would think she'd probably be holding up more to what's going on with Raul Castro and his late brother Fidel Castro in Cuba as a more successful communist/socialist society. She does not call herself a Democrat. She calls herself a socialist Democrat. She says, I'm not going to call myself a Democrat because I am not just a Democrat. I am a socialist Democrat. And I want people to know the difference. Fine. Oh, guess what? I'm not voting for you. I don't care how pretty you are. Your whole idea what you and Bernie Sanders are talking about scares me badly. I withdraw. Even Maxine Waters doesn't like you. I got a feeling that I sure the hell ain't gonna like you because you're talking about trying to tax the rich to the point of 25 to 30%, and so you can support all these free programs. Though there is a reason why that some people, when the millennials love free stuff. After all, many of them live in their parents' basements. They would rather be able to get free medical, free dental, free education, but that always costs money. Nothing's free. Nothing is free, and that's a fact. I wish people understood that. There's a big difference. I don't know about the sexual deviant part. I will leave that out because I don't have any evidence about that. As far as you seeing him as an arsehole, okay, that's your opinion. But we're gonna talk about people. What about the people like Robert Mueller? Talk about a real arsehole here. This guy has been doing everything he could to drag everybody in the mud. Literally, everybody. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, your neighbor's dog, your neighbor's cat. He can't make anything stick. Really. The only indictments he got that potentially could stick is the Russian indictments of those few Russians that got involved with the Hillary Clinton campaign. And guess what? He even admits Hillary Clinton had colluded with the Russians. Wow, isn't that incredible? Why in the hell isn't she ever indicted? Even though they also found out that they never found her email server. And all emails, 33,000 emails that she bleach bit. Totally to non-existence. Oh, I bet the FSB's got those somewhere, and I'm sure the NSA and the CIA do too. But that means right now, nobody's sharing the information. And Ron Rosenstein is also guilty of basically obstructing justice because the fact is he's supposed to release the information needed to the Judicial Committee, and he hadn't released anything free of redaction. And that has angered the Judicial Committee, where 11 Republicans have decided to file articles of impeachment. What did Paul Ryan do? No, we're not going to go there. Excuse me, you got 11 people, and Americans included, that are asking you, why in the hell are you letting Rosenstein get away with this? Well, we just want to use a threat. Empty threats. This guy has not even complied with your subpoenas. I don't think you need empty threats. I think you need to make a real threat. You need to really seriously look into this. Jeez. And I could make a montage of you begging Beaver time to come back so he could give you a computer. Yeah, well, that's true, but, let's see. I think I see Cringe Report on here. No, it's out on the wire. Oh, I think he is on here. This laugh is out on the wire. Yes. Looks like Jim Slides. You can see up on him. Something that's shows you should talk more about the other people's wanting free. Okay. Well, in the case, it's not just the free stuff. What Alexandria Cortez is doing is, if this country becomes socialist, it's going to mean that all of the Constitution is going to go the way of the dodo bird. Nobody really understands how important it is to have the Bill of Rights in this country. The Bill of Rights is what makes our country safe to talk, to share ideas. Look at all the shadow banning that's going on Twitter and Facebook and even YouTube. Many independent, conservative news people on YouTube are being told to basically shut your pie holes, because if you don't, we're going to permanently take you off the internet. Twitter is doing that. Facebook is doing that because they don't want people to know what's going on from the conservative views. So, I do want to cover more than just politics. I do want to cover the real world. And if it offends some people, at least I will say this much. I want to offend in good taste. Not trying to shock people into, doing things that are going to, make people angry. I want people to know the truth, because the truth is essential. In this age of doublespeak, if you can't talk the truth, then there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be caught off guard, especially with the new global minimum coming. And it is going to be really bad this year. This winter is going to be the beginning of a really cold time in the northern hemisphere. Now, ironically, part of me is saying good. Part of me is saying bad. Why? Because it's good because I love it cold, but it's bad because if we can't grow crops, we're going to starve to death. There's not enough food being grown successfully right now around the world to feed the 7.5 billion people of this earth. That means a lot of people are going to starve to death. It happened before, it'll happen again, and it's just a sad fact that the news has got to be told. But at least when I tell the news, I want people to hear it from the beginning. Case in point. What I'm talking about right now with the shadow banning on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter is not Twitch so much, but YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter is ridiculous. And Michele always blames others' consumption for corruption. When Trump is the topic, she changes the subject. No, I do not. I do not, because here's the thing. Where is the evidence? Where is it? Where is the evidence from an impartial person? I haven't seen any evidence that is clear, except for one piece which absolutely I cannot deny, that his ex-attorney recorded the conversation of him without permission, without the necessary consent between him and his attorney regarding paying off a woman. I think it was Stormy Daniels. I could be wrong. The thing is that's a fact. That's a fact. He's angry about that because his former lawyer never told him that he was going to be recording that conversation. That is a fact. Now, let's see. Trying to take it away, the Freedom Press. No, he's not. He wants the press to tell the factual truth. Not do like Jim Acosta of CNN is, of basically making up stories to try to sensationalize the media. We all know that in the last few years, the news depends on eyeballs, and if it's more sensationalized and the more steamy, the more people will watch it. How do you think things like current events and Entertainment Tonight get so successful? Why do you think magazines like The Star and The Onion are the most popular? because it's shock value is what people watch. But unfortunately, that means a lot of misinformation because the real media, the real journalists are trying to be honest, are not getting a chance to actually get the story told. Because they are basically in the minority. They're not being given a fair shake. And everybody likes to say, it's fake news. She's telling fake news. He's telling fake news. Really? I'd like to see if we could actually get Jim Acosta and, say, Brett Baer in the same room. And they had the same access to the same material. How much is that Jim Acosta or Brett Baer going to read the story and interject their own views into it? Originally in media and then news journalism, that was usually not done except for opinion editorial pieces. But lately, all news has become an opinion editorial piece. That's exactly the truth. It's hard to believe, but it's so true. Nothing is true anymore because real journalists don't exist. Maybe not anymore, but they certainly did. There was one time a concept of journalistic integrity. Okay? Yes, it was prior to cable news network. Yes, it was a little bit, maybe in the 70s, 80s. There was some journalism integrity. It's pretty much when it died out. Reporters would tell the story, and just the story. They wouldn't throw their opinions in there anymore. That isn't the case. People throw their opinions in because opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. I have my opinions. Do I sensationalize it for clicks? Well, yeah, kind of, but here's the difference. I am aware that some people will do this every day. I don't make it right. It just makes it the way it is. So when you talk about news as free of personal bias today, you're not going to see as much of it. Even though it would be nice if there was more of it. It just doesn't seem to be there. I could come up with hundreds of stories they say that like that. Forever consciousness. Okay. Michelle always calls Clinton a rapist, and now it turns out that Trump is the biggest cheater out there. Yeah, what's your proof of that? The Cohen taping? Which Trump was not even aware it was being recorded? And Forever Conscious says, no, they haven't. Looked at Project Mockingbird is going on now and has been going on forever. You're talking about, I guess, give one example where continuous or where CNN has been proven wrong. I can come up with a lot of examples, but I don't really know. First of all, some of the stories they tell isn't even based on facts. They're based on conjecture. Okay? And the biggest one that likes to push the false narrative is Jim Acosta. Let me go pull a few stories fresh off the press right now, just so we can cover what I'm talking about. That way I can actually give you some examples of news, real news, and otherwise. That way you guys can see, because a lot of the news on Google News comes from CNN, okay? So let's go through a few stories here. Trump says he did not know a meeting between his son and Russian lawyer, okay? I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't read it yet. Trump cheers amazing economic growth as economists caution it could be a blip. Talking about the 4.1% GDP growth, okay? Still, I think that's pretty significant. Trump claims credit for economy he calls the envy of the entire world. Well, that sounds pretty interesting. Car fire kills 2 in Northern California as evacuations are ordered. Photo, Robert Mueller and Donald Trump Jr. spotted at same airport gate. Les Moreves, CBS chief, faces inquiry over misconduct allegations. U.S. military takes possession of remains that North Korea says belong to Americans who died in the Korean War. World news: as Pakistanis end of vote count, Imran Khan is posed to be the next prime minister. Longest total lunar eclipse of 21st century has begun. Trump sought Israel's help to free American pastor in Turkey. U.S. news: Sheldon Silver, ex-New York Assembly Speaker, gets 7-year prison sentence. GOP Republican Jason Lewis called people on government assistance parasites and blacks on welfare plantation. Plantation. It's just from CNN. Here we go. Republican Representative Jason Lewis has repeatedly demeaned recipients of welfare and government assistance, calling them parasites and scoundrels, and said the black community had traded one plantation for another. Okay, this is just a quick byline here. Officials in Iowa are not seeing spike in missing persons cases. Movie pass crashes after running out of money. Twitter shares experience worst single day percentage drop since 2014 after reporting declining monthly active users. Disney and Fox shareholders approved deal ending corporate duel. Technology: 3 things Steve Jobs had wrong about the App Store, and so on and so forth. Now, let's take a look at the YouTube specific news. This is from Google's own site, by the way. Well, actually, let's talk about Connecticut news first, because Connecticut firefighters join wildfire fight in Colorado. Case of 2 children reunited in Connecticut after separation at the border continues. Connecticut woman turns out to be Arizona child who went missing in 1994. Connecticut bridge concrete to be tested for destructive minerals. How a Connecticut show made my heart happy. Connecticut is in crisis and its troubles are hardly unique. We're talking about the economy, which is certainly is a mess, and so on and so forth. Connecticut CEP launches their Discover Outdoor Connecticut photo contest. That's something interesting. First alert: severe storms possible today. Okay, and now to the YouTube, which has been doing a lot of interesting things. Why YouTube's Infowar ban is meaningless. Demi Lovato's new YouTube documentaries moving forward after apparent overdose. Shawn Mendes headline: Rolling Stone relaunch event presented by YouTube Music. Super Awesome now offers kids brand to alternative YouTube. How to make YouTube faster in non-Chrome browsers. It turns out that the YouTube is being optimized for Chrome, which is affecting Firefox and slowing down Firefox and Safari. I've noticed that. How to make YouTube 5 times faster if you do not use Chrome. YouTube star Hannah Hart engaged to BuzzFeed producer. Pamela Anderson blames Fortnite and YouTube for asexual men who hate sex. YouTube VR app launches on Gear VR, gets co-viewing feature. And Pepper's charged with threatening to kill officer in YouTube video. Wow. And this is the stuff that some of these stories, of course, are very much celebrity based, but they are exactly what people are seeing. Global warming news, or solar minimum news. I don't see anything specifically new right now. Weather warming, Earth approaching prolonged solar minimum, sparking fears of cold shock. I've mentioned it before. It's not a new story. Any new stories, it's really hard to get fresh ones because there is not a lot of material being mentioned, even on Google, but there is some very interesting news too. So, I mean, the whole point here is everything that I'm talking about, in this case, is on Google News. You can go to that app yourself and check it out. I'm really trying to kind of cover a lot of different things today. So let's go back to the comments here. Michelle is so for right to be unbiased. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, they're going to have your right and your left. One of the things that several congressmen have said is that since 2000, actually goes a little back further than this, but 2016 particularly was a powder keg in the people in the right and the left kind of beginning to clash more. Where before there was always kind of a happy compromise. I've been willing to go with the happy compromise, but it seems that, for example, you got people like Maxine Waters who tell her own people to riot against Trump supporters and try to say things like he's not my president, or normally traditionally said we would just acknowledge that our presidential candidate had lost, and that life would go on and just accept that we got the other candidate that we didn't vote for. Oh, no, since 2016, this country has been so polarized between the right and the left, it makes my head hurt reading the stories. I really do find it absolutely positively frustrating. It makes me want to take this thing and go. Honestly, I have to read this stuff every day, and I just get so frustrated. It's like, where is the happy compromise story where we can all kind of agree to disagree? It doesn't seem like those days are anymore. Everybody wants to pick one side or the other, and it's causing a lot of people to have a hard time understanding how it is. Let's see. She sensationalizes Trump and ignores all of his lies. He's a human being, guys. He's not infallible. I haven't seen anybody in this world that's infallible. Even the Pope is not infallible. Even the Cardinals of Rome are not infallible. They're human beings. They put their pants on earth just like we do, one leg at a time. They have the same earthly needs as we do. Okay? I mean, how many times has Trump been married? At least 3 times. At least. And it's amazing to think about. You know. And it's been, yet we expect that these people are going to be infallible. They're not. They're people. She once stated that only Democrats have after scandals. No, everybody has scandals. I got scandals. You guys saw them several times on my channel. I have scandals. Everybody has scandals. Nobody's infallible. I'm not. Why does everybody think that I'm infallible? I'm not. I'm a human being, just like everybody else is. Screw-ups or not, I'm just trying to say is that we should definitely not be encouraging people to go out there and have a physical riot and trying to tell people to throw rocks at the opposing viewpoint people. Okay? But as far as the situation with, even Maxine Waters did say she wants nothing to do with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez either. So I got a feeling that in this case, is she a moderate, or she just doesn't want to be so left as socialist? I don't know. I wish I could ask Maxine Waters that question. Yet you're the one who said to your own people you want them to revolt against Trump supporters, and yet now are you going to ask your people to revolt against Alexandria Cortez supporters too? The Democratic Party is eating itself for breakfast. Well, there is some Republican eaters in the Republican Party. They seem to be not as much the never-Trumpers, of course, weren't specifically to any particular party. They just seemed like they kind of piped down a lot, because they are seeing that Trump did do a lot of his promises, and he's still working on them. No one ever called Michelle's infallible. No, I'm not. Let's see. She once stated only Democrats have affair scandals. She never sticks up for his lies. She even sticks up for his lies. Nobody ever called Michelle infallible, because I'm not. I'm a human being just like everybody else is, and I make mistakes just like everybody else does. But here's the thing I really wish we could do as people. Could we stop basically trying to polarize the country so damn much? Could we just, as a country, work on the country problems and try to find a solution that we can all live with? Would that be so bad? I mean, I think that would be the most important thing we could ever do, is find a thing that we all agree on. This is a big country, a large demographics of people. I mean, there's people from the country, there's people from the city, there are people that lean to the left, people who lean to the right, people on the far left, people on the far right. But there are things that we all see every day that maybe we can work together to find a solution that everybody can accept. And let's be honest, the homeless population in San Francisco is a good example of what I'm talking about. Why in the hell isn't the city of San Fran investing in more garbage cans in the streets for people to put their refuse? Why in the hell aren't they actually providing in places where people can dump their waste? This may be a covered garbage can facility that is emptied, say, once a week or more often as needed. I know someone says, well, it costs more money, but yeah, but your homeless program right now in San Fran has been not working either. So it would seem to me that you need to come up with a better program to deal with the exploding homeless populations. And one of the most biggest problems is the shortage of housing. Every single Republican, Democrat, Independent, and of course Socialist Democrat has agreed that homelessness in the United States and the world is out of control. So why aren't we working together to solve those issues that are, regardless of political affiliation, affects every single human being on this planet? Wouldn't that be a better thing than yelling, "That's not my president," or trying to throw rocks at a Republican because you see he wears a Make America Great Again hat? I would think that those issues would be much more important to our people. Then that's the truth. We need to work to solve the issues, not give excuses of why we're going to sweep the problems under the rug in this country. Now, let's see. What's the next comment here? It says here, she even sticks up for his lies. No one ever called Michelle infallible. Michelle, if you could be any dinosaur, which... I don't really think of a dinosaur. Let's see. I don't know why I said I would be a crocodile, because then I could still exist. Well, I never really thought about being a dinosaur. I probably, if I was to be one, I probably would be a plant eater. I'm not really the kind of person. I'm definitely no Tyrannosaurus Rex or a Velociraptor. I'm more of a person that just kind of quietly would do the equivalent of, maybe eat my soybeans and, eat my vegetables. I'm not really into that kind of aggressiveness that you see among carnivores. And not that I have anything against meat eaters. I eat meat on occasion. The soup kitchen serves meat. I don't usually turn it down unless it's meatloaf. In that case, I will turn it down because I find meatloaf absolutely positively revolting. Especially the soup kitchen meatloaf is even more so. But myself, I don't particularly get into the meat. I don't buy meat at home here because I can't afford to buy it. I just don't have the heart to cook it. I did say I would consider being a Triceratops. I would have to go with the giant Komodo dragon myself. That's what they're called. And their saliva is toxic. It turns out that the saliva actually is a very important part of their process of processing their food. They are, the Komodo dragon venom is actually the saliva, and it's actually has a very rich cocktail of bacterias and things that help them process the food. It doesn't hurt the Komodo itself, but it helps to break down the food, actually. Very interesting about the Komodo dragon. Let's see. Those are so cool. Okay. So, how many people are actually watching this today? I have no idea. One. Really? Oh, that's what it says. I don't really know if there's only one. I think there's more than one person. Let me actually get a fresh update and count on this. I didn't even really plan to make a major video production out of this, but I ended up doing that, I guess, because that's just the way it is around here. Now, these things start out as a simple idea, and the next thing you know, it always explodes into something bigger. I've got 3 watching, which is actually, it sounds more about right. Given those 3 are probably the ones in the chat right now, talking. So back to live chat. Here we got Michelle is a hypocrite. She threw stones at Obama and what's his name? Obama was an idiot. He did not solve the problems that was affecting this economy. He did nothing significant during the failure of the Lehman Brothers. He did nothing during the Great Recession. He did nothing to make people, to give people the resources to keep the head over the roof. He did something for TARP, but actually that was started under George W. Bush. W. Bush, not H.G. Bush. Right. But he was, at the time, at the end of the George Bush economy, when Barack Obama took his first term on, there was the major Lehman Brothers fiasco. That was real. And he didn't do enough to solve the issue of unemployment. And what did he do? He went ahead and increased the number of people on the welfare dole. And now he's saying that the U.S. economy will never recover and companies will never come back into this country. And yet we're seeing that happen now. People are coming back to the United States. People are going to work again. People have a future now. And it is because people realized that the ideas that Obama was teaching was not at all in the best interest of the American personality or the American way of life. And that's one of the reasons why we see all these changes. Americans want to be able to be free and live the way that they want, to be who they are, as the Constitution says. And here's an interesting thing, an interesting story. The Ninth Circle Appeal, that's right, the Ninth Circus of Appeal actually said Americans have the right to carry their firearms in public. Isn't that amazing? The same people who repeatedly, over and over again, try to basically say a very leftist agenda had agreed that the Constitution does indeed allow people to carry their arms in public for self-defense. Very amazing. And I think that is unbelievably interesting. Let's see, what else do we got here? We have, C, she says everybody should support the president and then bashes others. I'm not even a huge fan of his. Well, okay. The show is, she throws it, okay. Obama, yeah, Obama. Barack Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. He couldn't even work out anything with Kim Jong-un, and Donald Trump has made some major successful inroads in dealing with Kim Jong-un. That's a big improvement. Where after all the years of basically misdirected, misguided, failed diplomatic policy, Donald Trump had made some positive inroads. That's something to think about. It's so amazing to think how much the world has changed since Donald Trump has made the changes. The stock market has been doing pretty good overall, but there is definitely no doubt that the leftists, such as George Soros, are not happy because Donald Trump wants to shut down your entire globalist agenda for good reasons. Because it doesn't work. We have a country. We believe in our country, in our pride of our country, in our borders of our country. Okay? Look at what's going on in Germany. Take a look at Angela Merkel in Germany. They have all those migrants coming in from the Middle East. Their German people are totally screwed because now what was originally the integrity and the identity of Germany is no longer the German identity. It's basically a foster home for Islamic migrants. Wow. That's pretty serious. That's unbelievable. And that Hungary has said, and so has other countries, we don't want to play that game. We don't want our country to be overrun by these people. Nothing against them, except that we don't feel that it's in our best interest. I know some people would like to say that's just tough, but you know what? It's true. If you don't protect your borders, and you don't protect your people within your own country, you don't have a country. You have a big giant mess. That's a real issue. Oh, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, well, here's the thing. You have your opinion. I have my opinion. I respect you have your opinion, but please don't throw a brick at me. Okay? Don't go out there and attack me if I wore a Make America Great Again hat, which I do not have. I respect that you have your opinions. I understand that people don't see things the same way. But let's look at the reality. Like I said with the homeless situation, this world has got issues. There are big problems that no matter what your political affiliation is, we need to fix those problems. And if we don't fix those problems, they're going to get worse. Okay? That's a real issue. So let's focus on that. I think we need to find a way to get the homeless people from being homeless. They need resources. They need jobs. They need clean housing. They need food. They need water. And they need medical care. Now, how can we give them those things without bankrupting our country in the process? I've always wondered that. What's the solution? Maybe it's a middle ground one. I don't know. Connecticut is certainly messed up. I'm not going to lie. Connecticut is a mess. Connecticut is your typical right-leaning state or left-leaning state that basically has supported the fact that we should give all these illegal immigrants all these resources they want, all the free care, all the free food, all the free medical attention. And yet, when you think about it, well, their own people in Connecticut can barely even make it on their own, and they're trying and they're busting their ass, but all the jobs are gone. Because Connecticut, for many years, had always had the high rollers and the will to do. But they're leaving because Connecticut has increased the taxes so much and made the state almost toxic. People don't want to stay in the state when it's going to charge them huge interest and taxes and penalties. And also a lot of the people don't even have jobs because they need proper training in certain industries. In other words, Connecticut is constantly trying to raise taxes to the point where companies don't want to invest in Connecticut because of a lot of reasons. And the first one is it's too expensive to run a business here. Another thing is some businesses have said is there's no training in the job basis that we have. There's no one to fill the positions because the people lack the training and the education. So that's the real issues we need to fix. Serious bit. Okay. The Ninth Circus. You got it. Trump is running a huge deficit, but Michelle will ignore that too. No, he's not. No worse than anyone else. In fact, if anything, he's aware of the deficit, and he's trying to cut back, but these are a huge number of expenses that the government constantly racks up. One of the biggest things that he wants to rebuild is the military strength of this country. Whereas Barack Obama wanted to tear our military to shreds. He knows that there are things we gotta fix, the infrastructure we gotta fix. If they really seriously fix the problem, I think we can overlook a lot of the issues. But if the problems aren't being looked at, are not being addressed, how can you ignore them? I do not respect Michelle's opinion most of the time. Yeah, I know that. Way too biased to make sense. LOL. With all due respect, Michelle, you have never paid taxes. Wrong. I did. When I was working many years ago, I used to work. I worked in 2004 for Friendly's Ice Cream Corporation. I worked for a couple places in the past. Actually, no, at that time I was working at American Food Corp. Sorry, I got it wrong. And South Campus Dining Hall. I paid my full taxes. I filed single zero, and then at the when tax time was due, I changed my filing status to single 2 because I was allowed 2 exceptions. One, personal exception every American has, and the other one, which was because I was legally blind. So I got my taxes back because I didn't make enough money. But I paid taxes, and I have the tax returns in my file to prove it. So I wouldn't say I didn't pay taxes, because I do. I also pay sales taxes. Every time I go to the store and buy things, I have to pay sales taxes. And they add up pretty quick. I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about, for example, replacement parts, household domestic needs. I gotta pay taxes on that. It's not cheap. It costs money. And that's a reality. Everybody pays taxes. In Connecticut sales tax, we went from 7.5% to 6% to 6.35%. And it still hurts people to have to pay, especially more so the lower disenfranchised economic group, because we have to pay taxes to much higher proportion of what we actually earn. And that's no lie. Taxes, we don't need no stinking taxes. Well, if you listen to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, yeah, you're going to be paying taxes, but yeah, you get more free shit, right? I guess that'd be nice, right? You like free stuff, right? Free medical, free dental, free housing, free food, free this, free that. What she said is several economists, we realized that we would have to increase the taxes to 25% on the upper crusties, and those people are the most likely to say, I'm getting the fuck out of here, because they got the ability to do it. Which means that when your upper crusties leave the federal government, United States, and go to, say, other countries, that we are going to find that those people are not going to be paying into the taxes. Emil, when you use the payer's money to buy stuff, you pay sales tax. That's unfair. It's a regressive tax. A sales tax is a regressive tax. It is not like an income tax, which is a progressive tax, which is based on how much you earn. Okay? That's one difference between sales tax and income tax, is the issue of progressive versus regressive taxes. Okay? So yes, these are real issues. And yet, it doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrats, Socialist, Communist, whatever. If this country was smart, we could all work together and solve these problems, and it doesn't matter which party you're part of. This is the reason I'm saying this. I don't know how we can better solve the problems. Since 2016, this country's been more than ever been split repeatedly. And it is not getting better. So I would, as an American, and this is my opinion now, I'm going to tell you my opinion, say this: let's work together and resolve those issues, not keep sitting there and fighting over stupid bullshit. That's the most bad thing that we ever did in this country. We keep fighting bullshit. We keep talking bullshit. We don't get things done. I'm saying is, let's get them done. Alright, it's already 5:12. Wow. That's 1 hour and plus change. I didn't even know I'm running this long. So let's, okay, hi, I get the reference, okay. Alright, so now, does anybody have any questions? I want to kind of have a questions and answer stage right now, because I want to try to get some questions, and I know you guys have watched me yell and scream at the camera. I want to know if you got any questions you'd like to ask that might be more exciting. Ginger Marie shows a penguin. LOL. Trump is running much higher than deficit than Obama. Stop. Because he's trying to rebuild the military complex and trying to rebuild the military that after Barack Obama basically scrapped it. Okay? That's a fact. He also is trying to work with Carson and trying to improve housing and urban development. There's the things that we have to fix, as I said, that is regardless of party, okay? At least I can say if we see a 4.1 GDP, which has been the highest it has been since 2000, was it 2012, I think? 2008. 2008, is it? Something like that. 2007, 2008. Okay. Point is we're seeing some positive changes, okay, in the GDP. But I would say is if we, as long as this country is going to fix the things that are wrong, I'm willing to overlook some things. Because we have a problem with homelessness, mental illness, and simply just bad juju that this country has got to fix. And that's one of the most important things we got to do. And that's not going to change. Let's see. Carson, come on, LOL. Trump is, okay. I love penguins. Yeah, I use Linux, by the way, on my other computers. which is the symbol, which is the mascot of Linux, is the penguin. What is your favorite Batman villain? Catwoman. I like Catwoman. She's fun because, I don't know, she's not like the Joker or the Penguin. She's kind of like, I don't know, she's kind of, I'm talking about from the 60s versions of Batman. She always seemed to have the cat personality. Always kind of catty-like, you know. At least I can understand her because I got cats of my own. I always kind of like being kind of catty. If that makes any sense. Let's see. She stated earlier that Trump wasn't the one who had to percent, and then of course the penguin. And Vince Marie says stop it, and then see Logan shows a little smiley face. I don't know where my favorite is the Trump villain, you know, the Joker. Yeah, I wonder if Mr. Laugh likes the Joker too. Maybe TNCC does. I don't know. What'd you guys think of the Penguin? I never really got into the Penguin because I never could understand the way the Penguin acted like he did. But the Joker, I kind of know about the Joker. And he just never excited me that much. Well, she's a villain, but she's probably more of a pretty lightweight villain. I think, I don't know, the Penguin is kind of weird. I never really got into the Penguin. The Joker, he had a couple funny things, but I don't know. I don't even know exactly why the Joker really would act like he did. For example, the Joker one time decided to create a situation of making robotic mice with explosives in it. The whole idea is that he could basically take out an insurance policy on Gotham City so that if the city ever blew up, that he would get paid millions of dollars. And of course, that's exactly what he wanted to do. So he created these robotic mice with C4 explosives in them. Very interesting story from Batman. I also saw the one thing where it was, I think it was the Penguin, no, it was the Joker, where he created a dehydrating ray that would desiccate the world leaders to make them into powder. This was a movie. And that really could always made me feel uncomfortable as a kid. And it still does to this day, because to think about how somebody could actually decide to dehydrate the leaders of the world and try to basically say, well, if you don't give us so much money, then we're going to go ahead and just dump their dehydrated powder somewhere else. Or mix them together. Could you imagine mixing, say, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in one vial? I don't know what we'd get back. Maybe someone like, I don't know, somebody worse. Maybe somebody way worse. I don't know. But, yeah. Well, anyway, I still personally, like I said, I think Catwoman is still my favorite, though. And yes, like I said, she is technically a villain. Did you ever get into Wonder Woman? I did watch Wonder Woman as the reruns as a kid. I did, but I never really quite got into the Wonder Woman. I used to love her special effects with her being able to block bullets and stuff like that, and being able to do this wonderful stuff. And it's been a long time since I watched Wonder Woman, but I think some of my most favorite superheroes was probably the ones that people really wouldn't think were so great as superheroes. I think, for example, the greatest American hero, this poor guy was given this special superhero suit. He lost the instruction book, and the whole guy couldn't even learn how to fly, and he flew into a brick wall. That kind of reminds me of me more than anything. He lost the instruction book when he got super sick. And that reminds me of the Flash. I love the Flash. Flash is fun. I'm talking about the one when when it was on CBS. That was always kind of cool. That this guy could go super fast. A police forensic scientist by day, crime fighter by night. Super fast. Eats tons and tons of food. High metabolism. Wow. You know, that's probably one of my favorite heroes. And let's see. Ted Logan says, Michelle, who played a better Batman, Adam West or... Well, I don't know about the other guy, but Adam West was okay. From the 60s. I mean, he was definitely a man of his time period. The newer Batman actors were... they had the good moments too, but I think in the last few years the Batman movies were a little bit darker than they were in the 60s. But that was because it was a different time, and so it was a little more lighter than it is today. Same thing with the Spider-Man characters as well. So you gotta remember, we're talking about growing up in the 70s and watching reruns in the 60s, Batman, Robin, and Wonder Woman, and let's see, the $6 Million Man, and of course the Bionic Woman with Lindsay Wagner. I tend to I like the Bionic Woman. I like the $6 Million Man too, because both have these ability to do so many incredible things thanks to the concept that was just an idea back then in the 70s, which was bionics. We now have bionics for real. The Utah arm is an example of bionics. We have these ability to make replacement organs for the human body that are extremely improvements over the natural body parts that they often replace. So that's the truth. I think it's really funny to see how much things have changed over the era. Superboy Prime is my favorite comic book character. I didn't really get into the superhero comics too much. Mostly for me, it was watching the TV shows. But the Joker is great. Some of his incarnations, I love Mark Hamill's Joker. The Mask of the Phantasm is his best Batman theatrical release. Then we mentioned Superman. Trump hates. I don't know. You know, if that person really is really a person, but I'm not going to say. So there's this. The point here I'm trying to get at is I'm a very you know, I have a rich history. I have a rich background. I'm into science, technology, and engineering. Not so much the mathematics, but I like doing things and creating things. And so that's one of the reasons why the upcoming project that I was given the money to begin the process of building is a major step for me. It makes me really excited to show some of my other skills besides seeing me just staring at you or have my eyeballs staring into an LG 210 phone. So this is, you know, to me this is a really big deal. You know, I love research and I love science and technology in general. Speaking of technology, the T-Mobile internet is down to 75% charge, which is not so unusual considering that we've been on air for about 2 hours now. So, and that's on T-Mobile right now, so we can have the best picture. That's pretty... Well, I never actually met him, but that doesn't mean that... It's just, it's the play... I'll explain this. Some of the names that I have seen being mentioned, if you say them wrong, it can be misconstrued as something that you don't mean. Okay? And so that name, if you say it wrong without the proper inflection or glottal stops, could sound like you're saying something that's incendiary. And I don't mean to want to say anything that's incendiary to the people. So I'm trying to avoid saying something that could be misconstrued. That's the hardest thing about this job. Sometimes. Let's see. Ginger Marie says LOL, okay. Alright, pronunciation of certain words, if you don't use the proper rule, the proper glottal stops, can be misread as a word you didn't mean to say. Okay? Think of the name of your friend there. If you said it wrong, without the proper space between the nick and his last name, would think you're saying something about people who are of Afro-American descent. That's what I'm talking about. There are a lot of examples of names like that. I see them every day. I try to make sure to specifically highlight the difference between the first and last name. But if I'm in a hurry, I may not do that. And then someone will say, you called my friend something a slur. And I'm like, no, I didn't call your friend a slur. But, you know what I'm saying? It's a weird thing. It's harder in this day and age of political sensitivity to avoid potentially stepping on toes without meaning to step on toes. Let's put it this way. If I'm going to step on toes, it's not going to be by accident. Trust me. I'll make sure to grab the equivalent of a big political cinder block and drop it on your toes. If I really seriously want to go ahead and make something, I'm not going to deliberately try to mispronounce a name unless I really... Well, actually, I wouldn't use the name anyway, but I mean, like for example, in the case of a Barack Hussein Obama, I have to say that is how his name is pronounced, but that doesn't mean that I clicked what he did, or what he's doing, or what he's still doing today, or George Soros, which is living in New York City because even his own country of Hungary doesn't even want him there. Wow. That's a whole nother story. I'm not going to go there at this point. Let's see. It's just a name. What do you always bring race into things? Because the sad truth is right now is the left are trying to say that the people on the right are race-oriented. I am not race-oriented. I have nothing against your race. But there's so many words that trigger people and it causes problems. I don't know how to explain it in a way that it's not potentially going to be misunderstood. I don't want people to feel that I'm a racial person. I'm not a racial person. I've never been a racial person. I don't want to be a racial person. Like I said, we have bigger issues in this country than worrying about someone's skin color or their ethnicity. If we could fix the problems that are really affecting this country, that would be so much better. And until we do, those problems will remain unameliorated, and that's a problem. Okay? Let's see. He says here, Trump supporter, kind of makes some sense. The Kia was right about you. You're not racist. No, I'm not. Why do you always... Okay, you just answered that one here. Mr. Laugh said, Michelle, you seem to think an awful lot about not coming off as racist. Because the problem is that so many people are looking for a reason to say that all Trump enthusiasts are these things that we are not. And that's the reason why it's so hard as a person who's a commentator. I don't want people to think I'm a racist because I'm not a racist. It's so easy for the left, especially people like Maxine Waters, who would say is that all Trump people are racist because many of us are white. But yet there's also a large group of Afro-American black people that are also Donald Trump supporters, such as Diamond and Silk. There's no reason why this country should even be still talking about race. The years of the racial issues from the prior to the 60s have really still been just recently reignited, because of the views of between the right and the left. But I am not a racist, okay? And I mean, that's important. I will stand with my black brothers and sisters, and I will fight with them to help them out. I have black friends. I work with the black community, okay? I work with the Latino community. I work with all groups. It's not an issue of what your skin tone or ethnicity is. As I said, this country has got some big problems, and if we could work together, we could solve them. But if we're going to keep fighting over the most stupid things, nothing's going to get fixed. That's a problem. Now, let me just go ahead and let me just wrap this up real quick because it's getting time to wrap it up. I will be on a live stream on Sunday. Krista said that she may be on Sunday. I don't know what's really her plans are, because she said she was going to be on Wednesdays and she wasn't here Wednesdays, and she said she'll be on Sundays, and it's like, I think she's just trying to kind of pussyfoot around, saying basically straight out is, your program makes me feel uncomfortable. And maybe it does. I'm not going to dismiss the possibility. But the most important thing is because I don't have necessarily a guaranteed co-commentator on these videos besides Lumi, I have to basically do the whole show, pretty much me and Lumi together, and everybody else, we can get them to come on, that's great. Maybe in a couple of months' time, maybe Patty might join us. It'd be interesting, even though right now she says she's not interested in being a co-commentator. But they may come. As I said, my channel's in flux. My channel is changing in a lot of ways. And I'm hoping to have more dialogue on more serious issues. And certainly more projects. Yeah. Lots of high voltage ones. Lots of sparks. Yeah, okay. That's what we're going to do that. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be something I'm looking forward to, but obviously there's safety issues with that. But we will just deal with those as we go on the project. Since the stuff in the UK is going to be here long before the transformer is, we will connect the outlets up to 120 volts for the demonstration purposes. And that's what we'll do. So you can see for non-UK, non-Irish people, Ireland, how the UK plugs have some very fantastic safety features, which are really, really cool. By the way, most people don't realize that the plug in the UK was created in 1947, and as was ring mains, which we're not going to use ring mains. I don't want to go with ring mains. Ring mains is as John Moore says, he doesn't consider a very good circuit design. It was just a good way to save materials at the time, the recovery after World War II, but it's got problems, technologically speaking. Alright, so for now, I'll see you guys on Sunday, and don't forget, Twitch, I'll see you guys on Sunday, and Discord, we have our Discord only stream on Monday. And I'll be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That starts at 7 p.m. for all the days. So here's a quick recap. Sunday is the YouTube, Twitch only. Monday, and that starts at 7. Monday is the Discord only. live stream and taping, and that starts at 7 p.m. Wednesday is the YouTube, Twitch, and Discord live stream. I just kind of gave you a little bit earlier show because I felt like it, and I wanted to kind of make up for not being on here yesterday. So for now, I want to thank everybody for being part of the show. I'll see you soon. Stay cool, guys. It will be cooling down eventually, so talk to you later. Bye-bye.